Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. This is coming from the modern investor. Crypto prices still don't make sense. Why is everything so low? He just posted this yesterday. JD saying, agreed, nothing makes sense anymore. No amount of good news does a damn thing, which I think indicates recession vibes. There's no excess money to spend and institutions are almost there, but not quite. An interesting observation. Don't know if it is fully correct. Bubbles here, though, saying, after the rise comes the fall. Bitcoin can still drive most altcoins. The rise of Bitcoin is the bull market. And this is, generally the rule of thumb when it comes to a speculative market. Bitcoin does rally first, and then altcoins follow. And, as we're seeing Bitcoin trying to recover from this former all-time high that we did set back a couple of weeks ago, we are now, we're seeing it receding a bit. It did test the 0.382, probably going to come back down to 0.236 levels before it does start to make a new high. I think ultimately, though, a lot of us are tired. This bull run has taken a lot longer than former bull runs, but we are going to see adoption. I think it is just a matter of getting our ducks in a row, getting our T's crossed and I's dotted, so to speak. Institutions are changing the landscape, and I think that is, the most important thing to remember. Another, this is a clip of the Modern Investor, the same guy who did post this original tweet. Listen to this.
Prefaced it before by saying, many analysts have this similar number. If you weren't here, his is $27 in 60 days, which would coincide with us getting information and news about all 17 XRP ETFs being given the thumbs up. And I dare say the words, if we get 3 to 5 of them, I think that'll be more than enough for a propulsion to get us over $15 to $20 realistically. If you missed one of the last couple of videos, a company by the name of Sistine Research is guesstimating, based off of their charts, they foresee a $370,000 Bitcoin this year. Their charts with that movement for Bitcoin show a $37 to a $50 XRP this year. A lot of analysts are throwing out these numbers, and I say that it feels a bit extreme because I think that we are used to it just being us in these markets. When I tell you that all these institutions and corporations and governments and central banks and companies are buying up all these coins, one side note, you can also Google it. If you ever hear me say anything completely crazy, Google it. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of the predictions for XRP have nearly revolved around like very specific instances of things. This would, if we get one XRP ETF, it broadens the scope of liquidity and money that will rush into this market. If you also missed one of the other recenter videos, oh gosh, what were they called? Company announced that they think that XRP is the only coin. They said the only coin that can stand up to or next to Bitcoin. And then we also had a thing, what do you call it? A study done by Kraken, the cryptocurrency exchange, who told people to allocate a portion of their money, of their portfolio, into XRP because of how great it's going to do.
So those are tailwinds, if I have ever heard of any. As the Modern Investor does say, 3 to 5 would be a big number of those XRP ETFs. That could propel us to, what did he say? I think it was $15 to $30. The number really doesn't matter. Sistine Research, though, also talking about a $27 to $50 XRP, I think the numbers were. Again, very extreme. But the important takeaway here, I think I want to emphasize, is the fact that it's not just us anymore. The Modern Investor says it. We're used to the speculative small market that we've been used to for the last several cycles. This time it is going to be different because this time institutions are poised to get in. And so if institutional money comes in, that means these prices are going much, much higher. So an interesting observation and an interesting thesis, I think, from the Modern Investor, giving us his 2 cents on that. So wanted to thank him for posting that. Remember, guys, this is what Bitstamp said just the other month, okay, a few months ago. XRP gonna make history next year. So, and now we have the Bitstamp news recently that they were purchased by Robinhood. All this is part and parcel to, I think, what we're talking about with regards to the institutional adoption, with regards to these extreme. And I know maybe for some of you guys new to the space, you guys are thinking, well, how is $50 extreme? It is extreme when we've seen, the history of XRP, when we know it had a hard time even getting back up to all-time high. And even when we talk about all-time high back in 2018, when it originally did reach a new all-time high in 2018, that was in a very, very different circumstance when the market wasn't as liquid. So for an XRP to get up this high was a lot easier. Now we have liquidity, but we also do have way more money than we had before. So for more information, I guess, on where I think the market's going to go, I'm keeping tabs on it day to day. As you guys know, I look at charts every single day. You can follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. And if my opinion changes, I'm going to be letting my Patreon subscribers know first. So patreon.com/workingmoneychannel if you're interested in following Bitstamp saying XRP is going to make history. And these guys are in the know when it comes to the institutional adoption. And for those of you guys who weren't at XRP Las Vegas, I got a bit of a synopsis here, courtesy of Austin King. XRP Las Vegas confirmed one thing. The next 2 years will change crypto forever. So he's saying it too. Regulatory clarity is coming. Institutions are leaning in. Adoption and growth are about to accelerate substantially. For those who missed it, here's an overview. First off, the most important thing to understand is the paradigm has completely changed. Okay, regulatory tides have turned completely. The past decade, the entire industry has had to play defense. Now, with key dimensions of regulatory clarity already being put in place, we're seeing companies like Ripple, Omnilabs, and others play offense for the very first time. Real adoption is accelerating too. Crypto is no longer living in its own bubble. We are seeing the world's largest financial institutions embrace the benefits of crypto technologies. This is creating by far the biggest opportunities I have seen in the space in my 8 years as a founder. A large-scale decoupling is also approaching. Many crypto projects have survived so far based upon good marketing but failed to drive adoption. A divide is already beginning. Networks that lean into these new 100x mainstream opportunities are beginning to show adoption that companies who rely primarily on marketing will struggle to compete with. Over the next 2 years, you'll see a significant amount of liquidity rotate from marketing-based companies to projects that are clearly driving real-world impact. Ripple has had this mindset since the beginning. It's our mission at Omni to ensure we are similarly driving real utility and adoption. So if you guys don't know, Austin King is from OmniChain. So here we are, guys. We still have 99% of the world to onboard. We are still very early. So if you own cryptocurrency now, you are in the right place, certainly. Wanted to thank Austin King for his 2 cents on that. Basically, basically what XRP Vegas, I think, has confirmed is that the real world adoption is coming. Many cryptocurrencies, 99% of them, as per Brad Garlinghouse, are going to fall to the wayside. And unfortunately, I think some of them are going to be some of these ones. Over 5,400 currencies have been issued on the XRP ledger to date. So, I mean, for us, that's great because that means more utility over the XRP ledger. But I have a feeling that a lot of these are probably meme coins, probably don't solve real problems, probably just kind of banking on the hype of the XRP ledger in the moment. But it is, it is still good to see that more currencies are being issued. Be careful, though, guys, what you're investing in. Keep your cryptocurrency safe as well. I do personally use the Ledger Nano. I do have an affiliate link in the description. You can use it if you want. You don't have to use it. But keep your crypto safe. Whatever you're holding. Markets, markets, we're still in a spec run. So markets will pump as the market does in a spec run. And if we do see that shift, well, the real world utility is uncharted territory and unnavigated waters, so to speak. But we should be ready for it. And that is my mandate moving forward. And there's the socio-political aspects to this as well. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, he just said this, okay, courtesy of King Valex here on Twitter. The end of the Bretton Woods era fundamentally changed monetary policy. What? Yeah, you can hear him say it in this clip. Listen to this.
The Bretton Woods Agreement placed the U.S. and the Fed in a central position in the global economy. Our mission then, as it is now, was to serve the American people. But it was clear at that moment that the Fed needed to have better knowledge of global developments to achieve our dual mandate goals. A 1948 memo proposing to create the division stated, quoting, "Problems of international economics and finance have become increasingly large, complex, and significant in recent years, and our foreign economic relations will undoubtedly continue to give rise to issues of the first magnitude." That rare economic forecast that has turned out to be spot on. 75 years later, it remains critical that the Fed understand the policies and practices of other governments and central banks and their implications for the U.S. economy and for financial markets. Exchange rate policy, of course, is now firmly in the hands of the U.S. Treasury. However, the end of the Bretton Woods era in the 1970s fundamentally changed the conduct of monetary policy. The end of the Bretton Woods era in the 1970s fundamentally changed the conduct of monetary policy, as policymakers had to understand the effects of potentially more volatile movements of the U.S. dollar on American families and businesses.
So yeah, a fundamental, well, this is an admission, a fundamental change did occur as soon as the Bretton Woods era ended. Which means, guys, I think what Jerome Powell is essentially stating here is that we are continuing to change. And, this new paradigm, this new focus on cryptocurrency adoption and DLT adoption is going to fundamentally change the system. And we're already seeing it happening, obviously, from our end. We're seeing, a lot of different utility coins being promoted and, understanding why this financial system is going to change the world. Donald Trump has also been making decisions that are very pro-cryptocurrency. So, hiring his David Sachs, for example, his AI and crypto czar. So here we have, a fundamental change. It's going to affect a lot of things, but at least, guys, the bright side, we are prepared. If you own cryptocurrency, I feel like if you own cryptocurrency, you're already in the top 1%, if not lower, 0.5%, maybe even 0.1% of people who are ready to benefit from this. Matthew LANY also posting this. Okay, Hidden Road with Ripple will scale more transactions on the XRP ledger. Trading Technologies has access to over 100 global exchanges. So more to do with Hidden Road, and I'm going to bring this up later on. I'm mentioning this now for a reason. So this was back from last year, June 2024. This is just demonstrating how big Hidden Road is and how much volume they do handling over 2.8 billion transactions. So that's not dollars, that's transactions in 2024. The TT platform connects to more than 100 global exchanges and liquidity venues across a growing number of asset classes. The platform delivers advanced tools for trade execution and order management, market data solutions, analytics, including the industry's leading transaction cost analytics solution, trade surveillance, risk management, and infrastructure services to the world's leading sell-side institutions, buy-side firms, and exchanges. And then when was it? 10, 11 months later, Ripple did purchase this exact company. So I mentioned this because I wanted to also reiterate that yesterday was XRP's 13th birthday, June the 2nd, 2012. Arthur Britto created 100 billion XRP. At that time, they were called XNS. David Schwartz did comment on this. Back in 2019, there have been some questions floating around about the origins of the XRP ledger and when XRP was created. So he says, let me help you clear this up. Okay, again, this was back from 2019. I worked with Arthur Britto and Jed McCaleb starting in 2011. We co-created the XRP ledger. Here is my first code commit from November 2011, and he posts it there. I will link this in the description if you guys are interested in more of the details. Here's Arthur's code that created the 100 billion XRP, then called XNS, on June the 2nd, 2012, the birth date of XRP. Yes, this shows a code push, but was obviously used. GitHub history that shows how many times we contributed and executed every day. And he posts another link there. By June 2012, the XRP ledger was live and transacting. We were still madly squashing bugs. In these early days, the reset of the ledger sequence multiple times for binary format changes and transaction history was erased. This does not mean the 100 billion XRP was recreated each time. Huzzah, the XRP ledger version that we now know and love today began in December of 2012. Unfortunately, the first week's work of data, ledgers 1 through 32,570, are lost, but people like Silkjar have been researching it, and so there's some more information there. This is actually quite a rich tweet thread with a lot of information here. So that is essentially the story. The early days of the XRP ledger, as you guys can see here, David Schwartz does explain it in detail, talking about Arthur Britto, the mystery man. We don't even know what he looks like. He's famously gone under the radar for a very long time. All we have is this South Park avatar for him. from when I guess he created that. I don't know. I guess he created an avatar years ago when these South Park avatars were popular. So Arthur Britto, we know the history. 2012, yesterday was XRP's 13th birthday. But then I saw this, guys, from Echo the Truth, signed on September 17th, 2012. This agreement between Chris Larsen, Jed McCaleb, and Arthur Britto confirms that Britto received 2% of all XRP, then called Ripple credits. And more importantly, it gave him lifetime rights to build on the Ripple protocol without needing permission. So this is a letter that was unearthed. Agreement with Arthur Britto, Chris Larsen, Jed McCaleb, and Arthur Britto, the founders, whom developed and distributed open source software platform for making and receiving payments in virtual currency, Ripple, hereby agree as of the date first written above, as follows. The founders agree that 80% of all Ripple credits shall be allocated to the company, as determined by the percentage share of all existing credits set forth by the in the ledger created, approved and adopted by the majority of founders as the official ledger. So you guys can see here also, it does give us some information on how many XRP Ripple did acquire too. The founders further agree that Arthur Britto shall receive 2% of all Ripple credits of the official ledger. The founders acknowledge that these credits have no value as of the effective date, and that compensation for work performed by Britto is provided in a separate consulting agreement by OpenCoin. As you guys know, it was originally called OpenCoin. It is anticipated that the total of 100 billion credits shall be recorded on the official ledger. If the official ledger is revised or any other ledger is created within 36 months of the date of the agreement, that sets forth a lesser percentage of credits for Britto than the number set forth in the official ledger. Britto shall have the right to acquire additional credits at no cost to him, sufficient to bring the credit grant to 2% of the total number of credits. Now, it also says the founders fully agree that the Ripple platform will be made available for distribution and licensed under a permissive open source license as soon as operationally optimal. It is agreed that Britto shall consent to open source this contribution to the Ripple platform. At the same time, all other Ripple founders do the same. In exchange, though, for assigning to the company his IP rights in Ripple, Britto shall have a lifetime fully paid up license to develop apps or new functionalities on the Ripple platform. So this is the agreement that allows him to do it. And here is the theory here, courtesy of Echo the Truth. So what did he build, if he built anything? But many are speculating. Many are starting to ask, did Arthur Britto secretly help build Hidden Road? I mean, there is a high possibility of that. The $1.2 billion acquisition by Ripple to serve as the back channel pipeline into RippleNet. Guys, remember the video I did about Hidden Road and their address and the connections to Bearable Guy Riddles? Britto was the silent founder. This doc proves he had free reign to build under the radar. And Hidden Road's address, 589 Fifth Avenue. As you guys know, 589, that's, that was the first inclination, but then I think it was Not Financial Advice did also say Fifth Avenue represents 5. It's on the 8th floor. And the postal code equates to 9. Could it be that there are more clues here that Arthur Britto perhaps did, in fact, build Hidden Road? And this was, in the works this entire time that this acquisition was meant to be. I don't know, guys. It is just another theory. Maybe Arthur Britto is a Bearable Guy. I know people have been floating that thought for many years, too. And I mean, even if he did, so what? So what? Well, I think personally it's important to understand who is behind this technology and how long it's been in the works. If this has been the plan all along, I think it just proves more than ever that us XRP holders, are holding the right token to succeed in the future. I think we're going to get all this news coming down the pike, and XRP price is going to rise. Whether it's through adoption, years in the making. The Hidden Road news was big, but if Arthur Britto secretly helped build Hidden Road, wouldn't that add another dimension to the story? I certainly think it would, but again, that's just my opinion. And for more opinions on where I think the market's going to go, please follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Conversely, you can support the channel in a different way. I've got all kinds of merch here at the Working Money Channel merch store. Link is in the description of the video, but that's just my opinion. I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.